100 naira ko, ẹ̀sán ko.
Alright, good morning and welcome to Lagos this morning. Today makes it a week that we are finally in the month of December, the 7th day of December 2023. And you ask yourself, well, you sing the song on the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gift to me. What have your true love given to you today, the 7th day, as we count down to the Christmas celebrations? It's the 7th day of December 2023. I would say welcome to Lagos this morning. How are you doing? How was the night? How was your rest all through the night? And how was your journey down to work? Hope it was stress-free as it is. In Lagos, as usual, the hustle and bustle continues in the city of the ever busy Lagos. And we're live here in the studios of Flip TV on Lagos this morning. So, I bring all the details concerning all the news items, the basic ones that happened over the night.
100 naira ko, ẹ̀sán ko.
Alright, so welcome back. This is still Lagos this morning, live here on Flip TV. Hope you're doing very fine. Hope you're okay. Hope the night was not really stressful for you. Hope the traffic yesterday on your way home was not too much. And this morning going to work, hope it went really well. It's Thursday in Lagos, and we know every Thursday it's a time for environmental sanitation, especially for the workers, or rather the traders in marketplaces and shops. Hope you've done that. And traffic seems to be a bit less this morning on my way down to work this morning. And you still notice a bit of queues in fuel stations across different places in the state. We're seeing signs that, some fuel stations are selling, some are not selling, so we have queues in some of the fuel stations along the way, which is causing some of the little traffics here and there, because the crowd in those fuel stations are becoming more and more. So on that note, we want to call on the NNPC. You promised us that we have enough fuel that will take us even throughout the month and even to the next year. So are we having these fuel queues again that are turning up in different places? Yeah. Hopefully we get to see the lights at the end of the tunnel as it concerns the lingering fuel crisis in the country. Today is the 7th day of December 2023. I hope you are preparing. As I always ask the question, just to put your mind that yes, that Christmas is around the corner, that we have to know more concerning that particular one. So Christmas is around the corner on the 7th day of Christmas. Your true love has to give you something. Today is 1 week in December, so let us know what has your true love given to you. All right, my name is Ebuka Ezobika. I have not forgotten to mention that. And we'll kickstart the show this morning on Lagos this morning as it is. Now, we have different stories coming out. In fact, breaking news, different places, left, right, and center. So we'll go basically into the stories for this morning. So wherever you're watching from, wherever you're listening to, feel free to let me know how you feel concerning any of the stories that will be given to you today. Don't let me know on the comment section. Just let me know. Just write it there, and I will get to read them out as we relate with one another. All right. So let's see what are the stories offering us today. The breaking news that is just coming out not quite long concerning Kokori. Yes, that's the breaking news just coming out not quite long. In fact, legendary Labour leader Frank Kokori, we just heard that he has passed on. We'll be looking at that this morning. Then also other news making the rounds, no provision for Chief of Staff residence renovation in the 2024 budget. We'll also be looking at that concerning the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, coming out to clear the air concerning some of the things that were purported online yesterday concerning the expenses that would be spent on the Chief of Staff. After that, we'll also be looking at Kaduna bombing. A mistake should not warrant Chief of Staff recognition. Yeah, so Chief of Army Staff resignation. We'll be looking at that. Kaduna bombing, review rules on engagement. UN urges the military. We'll be looking at that. Then also, Nigeria to have largest electric mass transit fleet in Africa. Okay, that story is also trending. Then we'll also be looking at 346 billion naira voted for presidential jets and also for refreshment. So much money. And we'll be looking at that. Then our main topic that we'll be discussing today is a talk coming from the Efcc chairman that says 70% of students in universities, 70% are into fraud. In brackets, Yahoo Yahoo. Now, many of the students in school, 70% are into fraud. That will be the talking points for today's show on Lagos this morning. So we'll be going on a short break right now. After the break, we'll come back to dissect many of these stories. So stay tuned for more right here on the show. This is still Lagos this morning. We'll be right back.
100 Nereko, Estambaseko.
All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Lagos this morning. My name is Ebuka. So let us go straight into the stories as we have them plenty to dish out for your listening pleasure. Okay, now, legendary Labour leader Frank Kokori is dead. Now, former General Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, Chief Frank Kokori, is dead. He reportedly died on the same day he was supposed to mark his 80th birthday. Very, very sad. Kokori, who is an activist with the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, died of kidney-related ailments in the early hours of Thursday, which is this morning, at a private hospital in Warri, Delta State. His death was confirmed by the Delta State government. For Frank Kokori, very, very popular back in the days, NADECO, one of the general secretaries too, and he has done so much in that regard. So he was supposed to mark his 80th birthday today, but instead he was confirmed dead today after suffering through kidney ailment. So we want to say we wish the family the fortitude to bear this loss. A very painful loss to the nation. We believe we will get more statements concerning his demise in the coming days or in hours to come, especially from the president based on the NADECO coalition that they have as it is. So we wish the family the fortitude to bear this loss. And also this is also a very sad one, especially for the nation. The government of Delta State have confirmed his death and his demise, and the family has also dropped a statement concerning that. So we'll say may his soul continue to rest in peace. Let's move on now to other issues on the news this morning. No provisions for the Chief of Army, the Chief of Staff. Yes, no provisions for his residence. Now, this is coming from Femi Gbajabiamila, who is coming out to say that there was no provision for anything of such in the 2024 budget. Now, reading through, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, has debunked stories making the rounds online that a huge amount of money was budgeted for the renovation of his residence in the 2024 appropriation bill. Now, there has been a backlash, especially on social media, following claims that 10 billion naira was budgeted for the renovation of the Chief of Staff residence, and that 10.1 billion was also budgeted for computer software. Now, in a post on his official X handle, formerly known as Twitter, Gbajabiamila, however, said there was no provision in the 2024 appropriation bill for the renovation of his residence, adding that he lives in his private apartment. He said the amount quoted online was for renovating the presidential quarters in Dodan Barracks and the Vice President's Lodge in Lagos. The former Speaker in the House of Representatives added that the renovation includes overhauling the information management and communications facilities in the presidency to meet modern standards, and also to provide vehicles for the staff of the presidency. Now, quoting him right now, he says it has become necessary to clarify that there is no provision in the 2024 appropriation bill for the renovation of any residence for the Chief of Staff to the President. I live in my private residence. But Abiamila said healthy public debate about government actions requires responsibility and engagement based on facts rather than insinuations. Now, it's good he has come out to clear the air, talking about the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila. Now, the question that we're going to ask is, okay, now he made mention that the 10 billion naira is for basically the renovation of the Lodge of the President in Dodan Barracks. And he also mentioned that it's for renovating the presidential quarters in Dodan Barracks and also the Vice President's Lodge in Lagos. That is what this 10 billion is for, basically. Now, questions asked is that, okay, if you're renovating the Dodan Barracks, how many times is the president coming to Lagos basically to stay? Former President Muhammadu Buhari, then also the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, where were they staying at the point when they were in government for 8 years? Because nobody mentioned things about renovating the house. We know that, yes, the house might have been, it has been a long time it's been used basically in Lagos State, because the president rarely, on rare occasions, visits Lagos. Yes, he on the rare occasions visits Lagos because he already has his villa in Abuja there. Now, for the Vice President Lodge in Lagos, how many times do we see the Vice President in Lagos? Now, some others are saying that, okay, basically, at the point in time right now, these are the things that should be the list of the concerns of the nation. We need these monies to be fixed on other issues bothering us as a country. There are other things that money would do, and it will be very okay. The Vice President is not looking for a house, he's not looking for a lodge. In fact, the issue burden on the Vice President's plate is already causing a big issue in the country. Wike coming out to say they want to spend 15 billion naira to build a befitting house for the Vice President. That is on one case. Now, his lodge in Lagos is going to go up another sum of money. Now, you ask yourself that the former Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, that left office this May, where has he been staying for the past 8 years? What happened to the house he was staying? If he wants to renovate, then you ask the question, even if they are renovating the house, at least it will be some touches. In the supplementary budget, if you look at it, basically, they were these kind of monies were budgeted for the house of the president, the vice president, also for the SUVs. Now, we also see that there is also in the same 10 billion that there's money for the workers that work in the office there, which some of these monies were also budgeted for in the supplementary budget. So these questions of billions going left, right, and center, is good is coming out to clear there. But okay, now let us know how much basically is the chief of staff collecting in the budget. I think that would be even more easier. Come outside to let us know that, hey, this is the amount I am collecting. This is the amount that not I am collecting, but that my office is collecting. Now, another question is the 10.1 billion naira, 10.1 billion that was fixed for to overhaul the ICT department, to bring them to modern standards. Now, that is another thing. What is this modern standard of technology that we don't have, that we don't know about? Is it saying that the ones used by the previous administration that left office this year is already old school? That they need 10 billion to get softwares? You know, these are the questions you're asking at. Yes, you want to overhaul the entire communications facility. They said overhauling of the information management and communication facilities. Hey, this is 2023. The previous government left 6 months ago. So how come everything is now basically old school? Software is over 10 billion naira that wants to be used. What happened to the former ones? Are they old school just like that? So these are the questions Nigerians are asking, and these are the things that we want to know. That yes, thank God for the freedom of information, the rights to inquire all these things. All these things are basically stated in the budget, and we can see, we can read through, and we can also scrutinize the many of these things that the chief of staff is talking about this morning. All right, Sammy, I see you. Good morning to you too. You're welcome to the show. Sammy, thank you very much. All right, now moving on, let's leave the chief of staff. Let's go into other talking points. Just let me know what you think concerning the monies that he explained that is not basically for himself, that there was nothing like appropriation for the chief of staff office, but he's looking at it in a broader sphere, explaining that the money is not for his office, it's for the renovation of the president's lodge here in Lagos in Dodan Barracks, and also renovation of the vice president's lodge also too in Lagos. Let me hear what you think concerning that. Now, let's go to Kaduna State. Yesterday, there was a mini protest in Kaduna concerning the bombings that happened over the weekend. We have the video of the protest going on in that particular area, as people are demanding for the resignation of the chief of army staff. Yes, people are already requesting for the resignation of the chief of army staff and also the defense minister, basically, because there was a protest going on. I'm sure you can see the videos right now playing in front of you as it is concerning the protest, because people are not happy. We have over 120 people that have already died from the mistake that the Nigerian army said happened to them. The video, you have it right there on your screen, and we know many Nigerians are really not even happy concerning that particular issue. That's why would they say that kind of costly, erroneous mistake happened. So basically, the Northerners are already calling for the resignation of the chief of army staff and also everyone concerned in that department, that you have failed in your duty and you should resign at the moment. Now, basically, how the story goes is this. Now, yesterday there was a protest. In fact, after the protest, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, has described the accidental drone attack that claimed the lives of scores of Kaduna villagers as an honest mistake that should not warrant the resignation of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja. Now, in an interview on Wednesday, the lawmaker who instead commended the Chief of Army Staff for his admittance of the mistake and urged that peace should be given a chance. The senator, who was reacting to calls by the Northern Elders Forum that top military brass resign over the incident that claimed the lives of at least 85 villagers and injured several others at Sundumbiri village in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State on Sunday. He maintained that precision miscalculations was not exclusive in the Nigerian army. The senator further advised the Kaduna State government to direct members of the Muslim community to always apprise the government of any huge gatherings in the state so that security can be reinforced to avert any such occurrence. Now, this is the word coming out from the chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua. Now, in Senate climes, in other countries, we've had issues, in fact, not basic big issues like this, some issues that are not that, they don't even warrant things that cost human lives. A typical example, Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, had a bit of an issue, something like this during the COVID-19 era, 2020. He resigned from office. We've had cases of some of the prime ministers of even the same UK that have resigned for lesser issues that didn't warrant death. You just resigned because, you know, in that duty, you have failed. you have failed. Yes, like I said yesterday, if issues like this happen, the head takes the fall concerning this, because as it is, basically, in that particular regards, everything on that in that particular department is under your own watch. Is under your own watch as it is. So basically, if he is going to resign, nobody would hold any grudges against him, because yes, this issue that happened cost the lives of so many people. Now, saying that it was just an honest mistake that doesn't warrant a resignation, personally, I wouldn't agree with that. Yes, he has come out to take the fault. He doesn't have any, he has taken the fault that yes, it's an honest mistake. But then, both the chief of army staff, the chief of air staff also, the two of them have questions to answer in this particular regard, in regards as it is. Now, still on the same issue, concerning the bombings that happened in Kaduna over the weekend, the United Nations also have interfered in the issue. Yes, the United Nations have interfered in the issue concerning this particular bombing, as they have come out to lend their voice. Because like I said, if things like this happen, it's no longer a local issue. Amnesty International are also involved in the matter right now, and they are not basically happy. Now, following the airstrike that killed at least over 85 people and had several others injured at the Tundumbiri village in Kaduna on Sunday, the United Nations have urged the military to review its rules of engagement. Now, the army drone targeting bandits struck as residents were celebrating their Eid al-Maulud festival. Now, reacting to the incident, the United Nations Human Rights Public Information Officer Seif Mangango on Wednesday expressed his disapproval of the attack, noting that if it was the latest of at least 4 airstrikes that have resulted in significant civilian fatalities since 2017, calling the incident disturbing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also avoided an investigation on Tuesday after the army acknowledged one of its drones mistakenly struck the village. Now, the military said troops were carrying out aerial patrols when they observed a group of people and misinterpreted their pattern of activities to be similar to that of bandits before the drone strike was launched. Now, the United Nations have involved that there should be a way to do all these kind of issues. Yesterday, I said something like this yesterday. The United Nations said, or rather, the army said they had basic knowledge that, hey, something like this is going on. That they had intelligence, that was the word the army used, that they had intelligence that these people are the same. Now, from this particular statement, they say their way of celebration is the way terrorists basically celebrate. And if there are forces on air, for those ones, for the terrorists to run into, this is just me saying out of my basic knowledge, because for these people to mix or mingle, to run into the crowd, it means they were being chased, or they were being chased by the armies that were on ground. The armies that were on ground were the ones chasing them. And from the chase, when they were being chased, that was what led them into that crowd, because they cannot just be walking on their own and just go into the crowd. Something was chasing them. Now, they were being chased out of their hideouts, which they now entered into the crowd, meaning there was no communication, basically, between the ground forces and those that were on air. That was basically what caused this issue to happen. Because if you read through many of the stories coming out, it's happened twice. Like I said yesterday, the villagers said just once, that it happened once. And I said yesterday, if it happened once, then it's a mistake. But twice, for the drone to be dropped twice, then it is something that is not, for me personally, not just a mistake. Not just a mistake. But then the army are saying it's a mistake. Let's go with that. But then United Nations have said there should be ways at which these things can be handled to avoid these kind of things. And I mentioned yesterday that this is not the first time it is happening. And now the United Nations have corroborated what I said yesterday, that since 2017, this is like 4 different times it has happened. And something else, or someone has to take the fall. Yes, someone has to take the fall in this particular one. It has happened the first time, happened the second time, happened the third time. This is the 4th time. If care is basically not taken, we might see it happening again if something drastic is not done. And we pray that it doesn't happen, because this is very, very sad. Like you heard from Eid Maulud celebration, they were all celebrating the Eid Maulud celebration, coming out from the mosque, praying and coming out to jubilate with friends and families, and that unfortunate incident happened. It's not something that anybody would be happy. It's not something that anybody would be proud of, basically. But then, investigations are still ongoing. We're waiting for the investigations to basically be concluded. Now, let's leave that particular issue right here. Let's move on to other stories. Don't forget, keep your comments coming through. You can drop your comments, what you think concerning the issues happening in Kaduna, the bombings, the mistakes. Would you support the Chief of Army Staff to resign at this point based on what's happened, or he should just continue as he has taken the fault? He has apologized that it was a mistake. It was unfortunate for the lives that were lost. Should he be resigning at this point? For, how would I put it right now? Should I say negligence or what? Let me get to hear your thoughts concerning that issue as it regards the happenings in Kaduna State. Now let's move on to other matters concerning the federal government right now. The federal government is saying this morning that Nigeria would have the largest, Nigeria to have the largest electric mass transit fleet in Africa. Yes, Nigeria will soon have the largest electric mass transit fleet in Africa. This is according to the federal government. Now, speaking at the 28th conference of the parties at COP28 to the United Nations Framework Convention Climate Change, UNFCCC in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuggar, underscored the urgent need for concerted global action to address the challenges of climate change. Now, according to Tuggar, he said Nigeria aims to have the largest electric mass transit fleet in Africa and increase electric buses from 100 to 1,000. Adding that the country is leading the fight against climate change in Africa by setting ambitious and realistic goals. Nigeria has ratified its commitment through a Climate Change Act and the National Council on Climate Change. The minister was quoted as saying in a statement by his media aide, Al-Kazim Abdul Kadri. Yes, this is coming from the COP28 that happened in Dubai, as the minister is saying that Nigeria is set to have the largest, how would I put it right now? Yeah, the largest, basically, as it is, the largest electric bus fleet in Africa. That is what he's saying. Now, let us get this straight now. At the point, the president promised us 100 buses. This was during his speech on October 1st. Now, the CNG buses will have at least 100 of them. Now, even the 100, we've not seen even one of them, except you have seen in any of the states that you are in. If you have seen in any of the states, feel free to let us know if you have seen any of the CNG buses. We've not seen one, and right now they're promising 1,000. And that is good, as we are setting realistic and ambitious goals as the giants of Africa. Not forgetting that many of these buses, many of the monies, we are borrowing many of these things to come. But at least let us see, there should be a start. What is the start? What have we seen so far? Have we seen one? Have we seen 10? Have we seen 50? In fact, the 100 that we even mentioned, how are they going to share it amongst the 36 states? We've not seen any of them. And now the Minister of Foreign Affairs is saying we'll be having 1,000. Well, these are things that, talk is cheap. We want to start seeing the actions. We'd like to see the doings of the federal government at this particular point in time. What are the doings? What are they doing about it? It's not just mere words. We will want to see actions, because Nigerians basically are now suffering from the effect of the fuel subsidy removal in the country. Everybody is suffering it based on how the price of buses have increased, and we know that yes, with the coming of the CNG buses, at least it would just bring down at least the suffering of people based on the price of transport fare. But so far, the promises have been made since the 1st of October up until now. We've not seen signs of these buses, and right now we'll be saying that 1,000 Yes, 1,000 buses is what we are looking at right about now. Hopefully we'll get this one right. And in fact, the way it's going with to the end of the year, I don't think we'll have any of those buses. Probably from next year, we'll start seeing the buses. I think there were some provisions made for it in the 2024 budget as it is there. So what do you think concerning that issue also? Do you think it's possible? Have you seen the buses? Have you seen the buses in any of your states that you're in? If you have, I'm not even sure the buses are anywhere, because if they were, or if they have been in any places, they probably would have seen a proper launching. Yes, the launching. I know I heard in Ogun State that the state government in Ogun State, the governor of the state, Dapo Abiodun, he's doing something concerning the CNG buses. I also hear that the buses are already in Ogun State, being sponsored by the state government, not the federal government at this point. State government owned CNG buses are here, but I don't know how many of those buses are in Ogun State, basically, in total. So if you think it's possible, you've seen any of the buses, feel free to let me know in the comment section there. All right, now, let's go to the presidential fleet. That is where we're going to right now, concerning the money, the monies that we have budgeted for the presidential fleet, because they are looking at it as so much money is going into the budget for next year, and many of this money is for refreshments, for food items. Now, let's listen to this information. Now, the federal government is projecting to spend about 346 billion naira. Yes, you heard that right. The federal government is budgeting to spend at least 346 billion naira on the presidential air fleet, presidential vehicles, welfare packages, meals, and refreshments in 2024, according to an analysis of the 2024 budget proposal breakdown. Now, the Budget Office of the Federation released the full details of the 2024 appropriation bill on Tuesday night, about 7 days after the budget proposal was presented on the floor of the National Assembly by President Tinubu. Now, in 2024, all the federal government ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the presidency, we get 319.28 billion naira for publicity and advertisements, medical expenses, postages, courier services, welfare packages, sporting activities, annual budget expenses, and administration refreshments and meals, honorarium, sitting allowances, and other miscellaneous activities. The total amount to be spent on only meals and refreshments by all the MDAs, I mean ministries, departments, and agencies in 2024 is projected about 5.84 billion naira. This is just for food, for feeding alone. Feeding in the office, yeah? Also, there is another 20.52 billion naira earmarked for the presidential air fleet, part of which 6.58 has been allocated for aircraft maintenance. 6.58 billion has been allocated for aircraft maintenance. 1.79 billion for the fueling of the aircraft. 1.68 billion for the overhauling of 5 NFLG's aircraft engines. 1.24 billion for the overhauling of some of the airplane engines, and another 1.66 billion for the overhauling of 2 Falcon 7X plane engines. Another 6 billion will be spent by the presidency on State House operational vehicles, and 2 billion naira on replacement of SUV vehicles. Now, let me take that part again. Another 6 billion is to be spent on the presidency on State House operational vehicles, and 2 billion naira on replacements on SUVs. Other expenses to be incurred by taxpayers include 9.2 billion budgeted for the annual routine maintenance of mechanical and electrical installations of the Aso Rock Villa. Now, to maintain some of the mechanics, some of the cars, some of the electrical appliances in the Aso Rock Villa, it will cost 9.2 billion just to maintain the electrical appliances, you know, things like plug sockets, television, the decoders, you know, anything electrical. to maintain them, and some of the mechanical things in the Aso Rock Villa, talking about washing machine, generating sets, some of the cars, it will all go up 9.2 billion naira, according to what is here. Then also, we have 3.5 billion for the construction of office complex for senior assistants and senior special assistants. 3.5 billion for the construction of office complex for senior assistants and senior special assistants. Another 3.5 billion for the acquisition of renovation, rehabilitation, and furnishing of the State House Annex. You know, so many of these billion. In fact, I've lost most of my saliva is calling this billion that is going into many of these projects. Now, both the president and the vice president, they intend to spend 7.5 billion on foreign trips. 500 million will be spent on the renovation of the president's quarters at the State House, Presidential Villa. The renovation of the VP's quarters at the State House Presidential Villa will also cost 300 million naira also. 5 billion will go for the ongoing renovation at Dodan Barracks, Presidential Lodge. Another 5 billion are for the renovation of the Vice President's quarters in Lagos. And the full digitalization of the entire State House and Lagos State offices that will cost 10 billion. You know, so many billions are going in. Now you ask yourself, is all these things, do we really need them? If you ask me, the president and the vice president are to be serving the people. But with all these things I'm saying, it's just like, yeah, they are going there to serve themselves, to make themselves, yes, they have to be comfortable, no doubt about it. They have to be comfortable. But all these houses, all the maintenance, all these things that is being budgeted, is coming at a time that the economy cannot handle so many of these frivolous spendings. Yes, the economy right now is going through a lot, and monies that are supposed to be spent on other things are being just spent for a few people. At this point, it's a time that our leaders need to sacrifice for the people. Yes, you are going there to work for us, not for us to work for you, basically. You are going there, you are in the office as civil servant, basically, because without our votes, you cannot be there. Without our tax, the tax that we are paying, you will not have access to many of those monies. So it's high time with our leaders to start sacrificing for the people and not just for themselves alone. Because at this point, if the common man is hearing this billion going for this million, in fact, from the meals, the president and the vice president, if you calculate it per day, the presidential, to eat alone for the presidency, it costs 2 million naira per day for the entire of the year. Because if you calculate how much will be spent on meals alone, it's over 300 and something million. So it's an average of 2 million naira per day to eat. You ask yourself, what is the president eating that will cost 2 million naira per day? You know, these are some of the things that Nigerians will be seeing and start questioning the intentions of our leaders. These are the things we hear and you start questioning that. But you say there is no money. How come this? How come that? But then again, it's high time. All this now have been passed into the budget for 2024. The House, the National Assembly, they are still screening some of these. They are still looking into many of these. But then again, we ask ourselves the questions. Are our leaders really ready to sacrifice? Are they ready to let some things go, at least for the benefits of the average Nigerian? Look at it. Tax money has gone up. Many of these things have skyrocketed. Now, taxes is not even basically cheap anymore. Tax it has increased. Taxpayers have increased. It's on the high side. There's increments in school fees. There's increments in taxpayers' money, but increase in minimum wage, we don't find that. Increase in salaries, it's nowhere. So these are the things we look at and ask about the real intentions of our leaders. At this point, we'll go for a short break. When we come back from the break, we'll look at other issues right here on Lagos This Morning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
100 Nereko, Estambaseko. 100 naira ko. Ẹ̀sán bọ́ ṣe ko.
Fire and rescue service.
Christmas is a season of great joy. It is a time of remembering the past
and hoping for the future.
It is a season of love,
peace and cheers. But
fire emergency has no timing.
Has no notice and never select a season
before it happens.
It happens unpredictably. As we share love this season, let us be fire safety conscious.
Avoid children playing in the kitchen. Do not leave your cooking unattended to.
Place your gas cylinder outside the kitchen.
Adhere strictly to safety rules
and never compromise your safety.
On behalf of the entire officers and men of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, a Merry Christmas.
All right, yes, there you can see that is from the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, giving us their Christmas message. And also want to say from the director of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Adeseye Margaret Abimbola, the Director General there for the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service. So I want to say, yes, so that is basically
100 naira ko. Ẹ̀sán bọ́ ṣe ko.
I am Adeseye Margaret, Director Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service.
Christmas is a season of great joy. It is a time of remembering the past
and hoping for the future.
It is a season of love,
peace and cheers. But
fire emergency has no timing.
Has no notice and never select a season
before it happens.
It happens unpredictably. As we share love this season, let us be fire safety conscious.
Avoid children playing in the kitchen. Do not leave your cooking unattended to.
Place your gas cylinder outside the kitchen.
Adhere strictly to safety rules
and never compromise your safety.
On behalf of the entire officers and men of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, a Merry Christmas.
A fire-free New Year!
I am Adesheyema Grace, Director, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service.
Christmas is a season of great joy. It is a time of remembering the past.
And hoping for the future.
It is a season of love.
Peace and cheers, but
Fire emergency has no timing.
has no notice and never select a season.
Before it happens.
It happens unpredictably. As we share love this season, let us be fire safety conscious.
Avoid children playing in the kitchen. Do not leave your cooking unattended to.
Place your gas cylinder outside the kitchen.
Adhere strictly to safety rules.
And never compromise your safety.
On behalf of the entire officers and men of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, a Merry Christmas.
Fire-free New Year! Andre Nereko, Estamba Seko.
All right, so you're welcome back. This is still Lagos This Morning on Flip TV, and that message is coming from the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a fire-free New Year. We don't want issues concerning fire, please. In this month of December, like we know that once it's the dry season, any small spark could lit up for hours, and it could destroy properties. Yeah, so please make sure that all the fire safety precautions that you try to use make sure you off all electrical appliances, make sure that you follow all the guidelines concerning prevention of fire outbreak. So because we don't want issues this December, we want you to celebrate and so that you'll be safe with the family. All right, that being said, you say a big shout out and thank you to the Lagos State Fire Service for that gentle reminder. All right, now so let's move into our main topic for today. The Efcc chairman Olukoyede has come out to say that 70% of the Nigerian students in universities are basically into fraud, meaning that an average of Nigerian students, if you have 10 of them, 100 in university, 70 of the boys or even girls too are into fraud. That is the basic thing now. The Anti-Graft Agency chairman, Ola Olukoyede, in a statement on Monday, said it is worrisome that 7 out of 10 students today are involved in cyber crimes. These are the youths we are preparing to be leaders of tomorrow. The media should not relent in enlightening them on the evils of such criminal practices, while seeking media enlightenment of youths to fight against internet fraud. Now, according to him, he said, our students have consistently demonstrated excellence in academics, leadership, and community service. To label the majority of them as criminals is not only an injustice, but also irresponsible generalization. Now, This is me quoting the National Association of Nigerian Students. The National Association of Nigerian Students have slammed the claim by the EFCC's commission, saying 7 out of 10 Nigerian students are involved in cyber crimes. Now, the National Association of Nigerian Students says that the Nigerian students have consistently demonstrated excellence in academics, leadership, and community service. To label majority of them as criminals is not only an injustice, but also an irresponsible generalization. We believe in the principle of innocence until proven guilty, and sweeping statements that paint an entire demographic with a broad brush are not only damaging, but also it perpetuates harmful stereotypes. It is essential to address the issue of crime without unfairly stigmatizing an entire group of students who are working diligently towards their educational and personal development. It, however, urged the anti-graft boss to provide concrete evidence supporting such a statement or retract the statement immediately, noting that it believes in constructive dialogue and collaboration to address any concerns related to the criminal activities. Babatunde reiterated NAN's commitment to fostering a positive and conducive environment for learning, growth, and development. Now, these statements has caused issues basically in the students' environment, and also I think it's I would want to tilt towards the part of the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, yes, of which I am a member of. Basically, when I was in school, in my schooling days, the Nigerian students will fight for things like this. Yes, if the anti-graft agency's boss, EFCC, is coming out with such utterances or with such remarks, at least it should come out with basic proof. It should come out with proof that, yes, if they have, in a particular school, if you have 100 students in the school, 70 of those students are into fraud. Are there any evidences that can be proven that that is true? I think it's a big slap on the Nigerian students' faces, the ones in Nigeria and even the ones outside Nigeria. And it's not even good. Basically, if you look at it, if you look at our image outside the country, it doesn't portray us in a very good image outside the country. If an entity or a unit as the EFCC would be coming out to say something like that, how would the world be looking at an average Nigerian student? You understand? So I want to also kudos the president of NANS, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, for coming out to stand tall, fighting for the Nigerian students. Fighting for the Nigerian students, basically, because things like this, it doesn't portray us in that particular light. The EFCC, we're also calling on the EFCC boss. There are things that are happening in the country, society, basically. Looted funds that have been looted and many other things that we are still fighting and hoping that they will look into. That's where those particular issues of how many monies have been disbursed, how many monies have been allocated, and we can't find any more. So many of these things they should be looking at, but coming out to say that 70% of the Nigerian students are into fraud, for me is something I wouldn't personally buy into. You can let us know your thoughts. Do you think that he's saying the basic truth? If you're a student in school, is it true that all the students in your school, possibly 70% of the students in your school, are into fraud? Do you think he's saying the truth? Do you think he is right in that particular statement, talking about the statement coming from the chief or the chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyedin, in that particular line? So let us know what you think concerning that. And quickly, we'll be running up the show with sports this morning. Yes, talking about sports, we're traveling, we're going right now to the Confederation of African Football, the governing body of football here in Africa. So they've released the final three shortlists of the CAF Men's Award. For the category of the men, they released the list. Let's have that right now.
again as he went for his hat-trick this time. Surely he went underneath the goalkeeper this time.
All right, so there you have it, basically concerning the awards as CAF have released the top 3 finalists for the awards. So we have Victor Osimhen competing alongside Liverpool and Egyptian player Mohamed Salah, and also Achraf Hakimi of PSG, and also of Algeria, basically, or Morocco as it is. And now a bit of funny thrill is that the award has been moved to Morocco. Yeah, the award ceremony has moved to Morocco. So people are pointing out that why moving it to Morocco, why taking it to Morocco? Is it because of Hakimi? Is it that they want to do something that we don't know? But all fingers are pointing towards Victor Osimhen to back this particular award. I mean, he had a stellar campaign, scoring over 30 goals for Napoli last season. This season has not been like last season. Struggled with injuries, changing of the coach, Spalletti no longer there. But still, he's hitting goals as it is. But so far, he was injured for quite a period. He's trying to get back into full fitness. But from the performance of last season, hey, I think everybody should be looking at Victor Osimhen. Yes, Mohamed Salah also scored more goals. If it's by goals, he scored more goals, but the titles to show for it is that, hey, Liverpool didn't win basically anything last season. But for Achraf Hakimi and PSG, yes, PSG won titles, but then does he really, or do he? No, I don't think so. Yes, if so, personally, from his performance last season, I would personally tilt towards Victor Osimhen. Who do you think would win this? Top 3, Achraf Hakimi, Mohamed Salah, and also Victor Osimhen. All right, so Lagos, that is the show. That's the size of the package this morning on Lagos This Morning. Hope you've been informed, hope you've been entertained, and also hope you've been educated on many of the things we've talked about this morning. So, for you that will be watching it later, drop your comments. Feel free to just keep your comments under the comment box there. And also don't forget to like and also subscribe. Sharing to friends and families is also very important. Thank you. Thank you so much. Till we meet again tomorrow. My name is Ebuka Ezobika. Stay blessed.
100 naira, Eko. That's